Welcome to your daily AI News Digest. Today, we're tracking a huge seismic shift across the entire industry. Seriously, it's changing everything from how AI is paid for to what it can actually do. So, let's break down what this all means.
For years, we've had access to some of the most powerful technology ever created, and a lot of it has been, seemingly for free. Well, that era is ending.
The signs have been there for a while, but today, it feels official. The hard economics of AI are finally catching up with the hype, and believe me, it is changing everything.
And our top story today is really the catalyst for all of this. OpenAI has started testing advertisements right inside ChatGPT. Now, if you're in the United States and you're on the free tier or that new Go subscription, you're going to start seeing ads popping up at the bottom of your chat responses. This is a fundamental shift for a platform that millions of us saw as a clean, neutral workspace.
So you might be wondering, how valuable is this new ad space? Well, OpenAI is reportedly charging advertisers $60 per 1,000 views. Now, to put that into perspective for you, that is not your typical social media ad rate. No way. This is premium, top-tier pricing, pretty much on par with major live sporting events like the NFL. OpenAI is making a huge bet that AI-powered, contextually relevant ads can command top dollar.
So why the sudden pivot to ads?
Well, the answer is pretty simple. The cost of running these massive models is just astronomical. We're talking about a financial black hole that is forcing even the world's biggest companies to raise staggering amounts of cash, not in the millions, but in the tens of billions.
Let's just start with OpenAI. According to some leaked internal documents, the company is staring down a projected financial shortfall of $14 billion for 2026 alone. Subscriptions just aren't cutting it. They simply don't cover the massive compute costs that it takes to serve hundreds of millions of users.
And look, it's not just OpenAI that's feeling the heat. In response to this new reality, Google's parent company, Alphabet, just wrapped up a massive bond sale, raising over $30 billion. And guess what? This money is specifically earmarked to fund their AI expansion and infrastructure build-out.
And get this, a key part of that $30 billion raise is something pretty remarkable. A century bond. We're talking about a debt that won't be paid back for 100 years. The crucial point here is that by issuing one, Alphabet is signaling to the entire market that it sees AI infrastructure not as some temporary tech project, but as a permanent, essential utility, like the power grid or water systems. It is an absolutely unprecedented, century-long bet on the future of AI.
So what is all this money actually buying? Well, it's fueling a completely new kind of arms race, one that's being fought on two fronts. On one side, you have the physical hardware, the machines. And on the other, you've got the increasingly intelligent software, the models. If you want to dominate, you have to master both.
Okay, let's start with the machines. NVIDIA, the undisputed king of AI hardware, has just kicked off the next generation with its Rubin platform. It's named for the pioneering astronomer Vera Rubin. And this isn't just one new chip, it's a complete, interconnected system designed to work together.
And the whole goal of this new hardware really comes down to one word: efficiency. The Rubin platform is promising a 10-fold reduction in the cost to actually run an AI query. And it's going to require 4 times fewer GPUs to train the next generation of huge models. This is how AI becomes more accessible and, economically viable at a massive scale.
Now for the other side of that arms race. While NVIDIA is busy building the engines, companies like Anthropic are building the brains. And their latest model, Claude Opus 4.6, represents a major leap in reasoning and problem-solving ability. Just take a look at this. This chart shows how these models perform on a test designed to see if they can solve novel problems, things that are pretty easy for us humans, but have historically been incredibly difficult for AI. And as you can see, Claude Opus 4.6 isn't just a little bit ahead, it is demonstrating a significant lead over its top rivals from OpenAI and Google in this really critical area of reasoning.
And that improved reasoning? It's unlocking the next major phase of this whole technology: agentic AI. We are moving way beyond chatbots that just, answer questions. We are now entering an era of AI systems that can autonomously reason, create a plan, and actually take actions in the digital world to complete complex tasks all by themselves.
To really understand the impact here, let's just start with a number: 500. What could an AI possibly do 500 times?
That is the number of high-severity security flaws that a single AI agent powered by Claude Opus 4.6 found across major open-source software libraries. It wasn't just finding typos, it was reasoning through code like an expert human researcher to uncover critical vulnerabilities, and it did it at a scale that no human team could ever hope to match.
And this agentic revolution, it's happening everywhere. In healthcare, these AI agents are cutting the administrative burden on doctors by up to 40%. In IT, they're slashing the effort needed to manage complex storage systems by 90%. And in the legal world, these models are scoring over 90% on benchmarks that were designed for experienced lawyers. This isn't theoretical anymore. This is happening right now.
So this explosion in AI capability and autonomy is, pretty unsurprisingly, forcing a reaction from governments all over the world. The global conversation in 2026 has totally shifted. It's less about writing new laws from scratch and much more about figuring out how to actually implement and enforce the rules we already have.
And what's really clear is that there is no single global approach. The United States is trying to block individual state laws to create one national framework. The EU is busy trying to streamline its massive AI Act to make it more practical for businesses. And meanwhile, countries like South Korea and China are already enforcing specific rules around things like deepfake labeling and AI in education.
So let's recap today's digest, because it's all connected in this massive flywheel. The brutal economics of AI are forcing a shift to ads. That money, plus billions in debt, is funding an arms race in hardware and software. Those breakthroughs are creating agentic AI that acts on its own, which in turn is forcing global regulators to try and keep up. You see, each step is fueling the next.
Which really leaves us with one final thought. With billions of dollars pouring in and machines that can act and reason all on their own, a real question starts to emerge. As this AI race accelerates at this incredible speed, who or what is actually in the driver's seat?